I will say I do feel like I've adjusted the monitor. I feel like I'm playing pretty well. Just kidding. Bad game, bad monitor. I hate this all video ever. So Halo Infinite's been out for a while. This game, obviously, kind of a return to form from Halo. There's some new tweaks, but for the most part, this feels pretty good and fairly reminiscent of the old Halo days. So I am, of course, going to be playing it on a CRT. Now, something I don't normally show is the setup process, so I want to actually just go ahead and do that right now. And you can see right here that the game does actually support my resolution pretty well. The only issue is the UI and the HUD is definitely configured to not support this aspect ratio. It doesn't adapt to it. Like, there's top and bottom black bars, but it's really not that big of a deal. And once you go ahead and get out of those, the game actually still looks normal. Like, we still have menus that seem fine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into campaign, and I'm just going to goof around for a minute and show you guys everything that's going on. And then I'll actually jump into some multiplayer and see how this affects me competitively and see if that would be something that you would be interested in. Like, if you should be going out of your way to get a CRT monitor to play competitive Halo. I will go ahead and spoil it and say the answer is probably going to be no, but you know, that might be fun to think about. All right, so we need to... Oh, I'm at the spot where I need to run.
Where are you? The Pelican's surrounded. Oh God, they're trying to get in.
On my way.
What was that? He felt bad. Even the banished seem freed. We are running out of time.
The batteries.
Charging slowly. I don't know. It's gonna be close. Too close. Okay, so 90 seconds to a full charge. I hope this place holds together that long. Charge faster!
Yeah, so campaign feels pretty good. I didn't have any complaints doing that. I think that's a good warm-up for me to be able to jump into multiplayer. Now, I am kind of playing at a weird angle, just so I can be recording, so I'm definitely not going to be popping off or anything. But I do think this will work pretty well. I don't think my FOV will be a huge hindrance in this, which really would be your only competitive disadvantage, is if your FOV was messing it up. Obviously, your screen isn't as wide, so you can't see as far. But I don't think that's going to really be a problem in this game. This isn't something where you're like, really, like, the games I would think that would be a hindrance in would be either CS, which people play in stretched, so probably not, or in like PUBG, like some hyper real BR where you really just want to be able to see everything. But even then, I'm not convinced that those are like a big detriment to be using. That just isn't gonna work if you have that FOV. I will say, I feel like the on-screen elements, like the names, the score, that game mode that just showed up, I feel like they're bigger than they normally are. I don't think things are normally displayed like this. I am playing in a lower resolution though, so it's probably scaled based off of that. But everything looks really good at this resolution, dude. It's crazy. New displays, you really don't need a lot. Yeah, this is definitely a little harder playing at this angle. And also, I haven't played in like a week. So, that's, you know, it's definitely part of it. I obviously knew that he was somewhere there, but I actually just straight up didn't see him. I think I just have to get used to this. I don't think that's like, oh, well, GG, the monitor bad. I don't think that's what happened there. I think it's about the angle that I'm playing at. Much more than anything. This is kind of hard to see here.
The enemy has captured Alpha. Enemy team scoring. Your team scoring. Watch my back.
Grenade out!
Over there. Miles inside.
The enemy has captured Charlie. Enemy team scoring. Stronghold Alpha is ours. Your team scoring. Enemy team scoring. The enemy has captured Alpha. M41 Spanker inbound. Stronghold Bravo is ours. Your team scored.
Over there. Hostiles inside. We've lost. They're close.
The enemy has captured Charlie. Enemy team scored. Your team scoring. Bet that was a surprise. Enemy team scoring. The enemy has captured Charlie.
Targets are over there.
M41 Spanker inbound.
Taking fire.
M41 Spanker available. The enemy has captured Charlie. Taking fire! Tossing a nade. Your team scoring. Enemy team scoring.
I do want to say I definitely feel like I very quickly adjusted to playing at the monitor. Really, my grievances are the angle I have to play at to get the camera in comfortably, and the fact that I haven't played Halo consistently in a while. But I don't feel like I'm being hindered by this at all. I think the best reason to use something like this, if not just for funsies, is if you need to play at a low resolution. If your computer isn't like super ballin' and you want to play low res, I think this makes it look super good using it. I think using a CRT is much easier to have a good game feel at a lower resolution than playing on an LCD. I think that's still really where this thing shines. And with the graphics card situation going on right now, supply chain issues, and just scalping, I think this is really the way to go. I think, see, the thing is, the reason I would get this specific CRT monitor is if you want to play it at a higher resolution and have nicer features, but the exact use case I'm talking about right here, where you'd want to play it at a lower resolution so you could run everything, you actually would be able to just pick up any old CRT monitor because you don't need those bells and whistles of a higher res, because that's the whole point of doing this, is that you don't have to play it at that higher res and make it be really nice. You can play it, you know, whatever lower 5x4, 4x3 type resolution, and I think it looks really good. Everything's very legible. There aren't any issues, and this is, you know, almost as modern of an FPS as you get. I would say this is as modern of an FPS as I would ever want to play. I don't feel like playing the new Battlefield, and even then, all the shooters came out around the same time. So this is pretty much the most modern you'll get of an FPS, and on top of that, it runs fantastically on the monitor. There's no weird scaling issues where, like, there's picture that's stretched in this way or that way. The menus are fine. I didn't even have to do any workarounds or anything to get everything running. So, absolutely would recommend doing this if this fits your use case. And with that, I think I've shown off enough. I am gonna go ahead and just end the match prematurely. Tell you what, I'll keep recording and I'll just edit everything out. I'll let you know if I won or not, okay? Hey, and we did end up winning, and hopefully you ended up finding this video useful. Thank you so much for sticking around. I do think I will probably start making my CRT videos a little bit like this, where I actually kind of show the setup process. That way you can see how difficult it is and actually talk about if it was difficult setting up or not. I think that this game, compared to like an indie game, I have a lot more to talk about with, and so I'm gonna do it. And you can see at the end, the match screen does actually get cut off a little bit. I can't really see my character, but they actually, I mean, they show all of the useful information. So, you know, it would be nice if my character moved over a tiny bit. Honestly, I would give this an A+ rating. You absolutely can and should play it this way. This was fun. I need to not be in matchmaking, and I need to close the video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.